The speed of the light in this dependency of the motion and is the same in the direction. This required abandoning the die there is a universe quantity called time task and growth well measured. Inside everyday worlds have is the whole of personal time. The time of two people were agreed these people were agreed while respected to each other, but now is they were moving. Where frowning is positive is they is very confirmed by a number of experiences included on the which two occur close, where frown is opposite dancing around the world and the return, showing very slightly different styles. The mind you say that is our water to light longer us shall skip Friday to the his should the brain speak and his a day to the hit okay. However, the time fraction of the seconds one world line would be more time consuming by counting a line rings. One for two. The twice paradox. In the theory of relativity, the age observed has his own measure of time. This could lead to the so-called 20 paradox, one of the pain on twice livings of the space journey, in which he travels closer to the speed of light, while his brother remembers stay. Because it is the motion time runs more slow in the spacecraft and she by the hill, one time song is returned the spec travel while find that is broad has aged more than Hillside and so is it against commute since a number of spans have increased that the science, the traveling time will indeed be used. Our speed, spacing speed heard from left to right for 5 to speed of light, and usage of light is every time and on the at on the heat, on the cabin reflection on the earth fin. The light is observed with purple far and of the species. Because of the motion on the species, they will decide about the distance that light has traveled is reflecting back. They must therefore days and reach about the time the light has, has according to finish to postulate that the speed of light is same for our early morning answer. Finish postulate that the laws are natural so speed the same to our early morning observes was the foundation of the theory of relativity. To cover because it is implied psionic revelation was important is very explicitly combines many thinkers with the clearly unknown opposition Einstein and overload to an unsolid host. One night 23 signs and solution rates are represented by the Hertz and absolute of universal time. Watch the close because will measure many people for this sunset concept that the spirit side used that every time was realized as 12 were no absolute moral stand. This undecide to continue throughout the night 1920 and 1930. When Einstein was awarded the Nobel Prize in 1921, and city was for implemented by his startup company leveling minor world and the carried out in 1905 is made no mention of relativity, which was considered too controversial. I took it to our three levels and wicked telling me finish was wrong. Nevertheless, the theory of relativity is now completely accepted by the science fiction community, and the prediction have been verified is considered application and be very consequence on relativity in the relation between mass and energy. Einstein pursued that the speed of light so to the same for species time. No time can be moving fast than light. What happened is that someone used energy to accelerate an item with and predicted on a spaceship is mass increase, making it the hard accelerate in fuel. To accelerate participate and the speed of sunlight will be responsible because it is voltage infinity amount of energy. Mass and energy are equivalent and is sometimes in Einstein famous equation. He he misa 2 is probably the only question in physics to have reconciled on the street. More is consequence but the reality is the neutral or is uranium atom fission onto two nuclei, while singly less total mass, the world relativity realized amount of energy. And one like 39 and Spaceport of another 102 grouped and size one relative size intensity were because Einstein to overcome the specific exclude and let you theory and to ladder to press Roosevelt bringing the USA to start program of nuclear reactors. This led to Manhattan Project is ultimate to the bombs that exploded over Hiroshima and Nagasaki and 1945 some people blamed the atom bomb on Einstein because he discovered the relative between mass and energy would saline gravitational would cause airplanes to crash because he discovered the gravity. Einstein is said to no part Manhattan Project, as was repeated in the drums on the moons. Anti-people leader to press result and 1939 is the cause of the 4 months is the Bimari probably traveling the world of the online France as well Fermi and Chile in America that is my income possibility to visit out a nuclear Chinese reaction in the large mass for uranium, by which was amounts of power and large quantity of new radium-like elements world by generation. Now is appears almost certainly that this called by Cheryl in the immediate future. This new phenomenon was also led to the construction of walls and the conservative town much less certainly than the extremely purple ones on the new town must to the big concert. After its groundbreaking paper in 1905, Einstein's scientific reputation was established, but it was not until 1909 that as has evolved positively in the universe of Zurich and every day to leave the same patent office. 2 years later, the movement of the Germany University in Prague, but he back to Zurich in 1912. The dies died to the heat despite the anti-Semitism. The stat but common image for Europe. Every the university he has an academy how project offices can from Vietnam and Utrecht, but the chose to ancestry and research positive and the Prussian Academy on Science in Berlin, because it is spread in home from teaching due he moved to Berlin in April 1914 and was shortly after by his Wi-Fi on two sons the married had been in the band while for some time with Bucket and family returned to say until he visited occasionally he has his very divorced Einstein daughter Marvel is cousin Elsa while live in Berlin. The fact that they speak warriors and Taylor because domestic commitments might be one reason why Perry was so productive for his scientific. Although the theory of relativity with why the last star hover electricity and magnitude was not compatible with Newton's law of gravity, and then the land side that is for one Charlie destination for matter in the function on the space, the change gravity field we feel instantaneous every day and same in the universe. Not only this wow mean one cold sense sailing faster than light or metal that was everything by relativity in new over the clouds was instead main is very the system absolutely the for universe time, which relative had actually is founded on person time. Einstein was aware of difficulty in 1906 while he was still the Purple Office in Red, but it was not until he was free in 1911 that he came to sign serious our problem the relative closed relativity acceleration and the gravity field sometimes I closed was such an elevator going up three watched the walls as relatively fast. Gravity field the main acceleration by rocket in straight speed. Spirit space. All opposite suns. That was before the age of Star Trek. And so Einstein theory for people in a levitation rated than spacey, but one cannot necessarily fall fairly very far is an elevator caused fear disaster strike is the far with but one cold equally will say Apple few Newton is heavy because of gravity or acceleration because Newton and the heat of the air because accelerating greatest equilibrium acceleration and gravitation that seem to work for our here our world people on the positive side of the world we world rate to acceleration position direction was steady and constantly descent from h but on the return storage and 1912 Einstein had the breakthrough of Felicity television world is the geometry of spacetime was curved and not flat and had big assuming but had equal is what was mass and energy world where space-time is managed to be determination objects soul and couple planets and to move in the strong space-time while the finds world helped to be to by flying glass because space-time in cube. While Turger or the friend Marshall Gambas, Einstein studied the theory for cubed space and surface that had been developed only by George Friedrich Richard and has and based on structural mathematics heavy had no thought had that is what the revealed to the third real world Einstein Garcia wrote on Johnny people in 1913 is what they forward the day that was the we time of the gravitational forces and use expression on the fact that space-time is cured only because of the mistake by Einstein who was kind, human and fiery. They were able to find the question relative the cube on the space-time, not the mass and energy in the time. Einstein continued to work on the problem in marine industry by domestic mother and largely unaffected by the war until he finally found the right expression in November 1915. He had discussion this is dies the medical David Emergency visited to the university to learn. In the summer of 1915, and Hilbert independent tried for the same equation a few days before Einstein November has his Hilbert admitted declared the neutrality theory belonged to Einstein. He is there to relative gravity towards the work of spacetime is traveled to civilization state of Germany the periods that saw sci-fi discussion and exchange could go in distribute. Everywhere on the website is what sharply constrained during the Nazi 20 years later. The new theory on the spacetime was called general relativity. Study usage is from the original theory Whitehead's gravity, which was known on the space. The gravity it was confirmed is specifically fashion in 1919. One expedition to West Africa observed a slightly body of light faster near the south body than the eclipse. Here was light evidence that space and time we worked on the speed the gravity change on the perspective on the universe in which the light size for free growth is elementary on geometry around some 100 BC. Eisentheory relativity transforms space and time from passive background in the which events take place to activity and type participate in the dynamic of the universe. The length to of the great prominent star remains and the free fall front on cyclize in one two and the 2 1 century the universe is full of matter was space-time in the source and was time pulses fall toward. Einstein thought that the is expression that have and solution have, have space. The solution in the space equation that describe the universe on chapter in time. Others start qubit or sound on everlasting everyday universe, while he and the most other people believed in the future. The equation by Einstein the third called the cosmology calls constant while watch space-time in the opposite sides to start bodies moving past the repulsive effect of the cosmology constant called balance the attractive everyday effect of modern only a static solution for the universe. This was one massive opportunity on theoretical physics. If Einstein had chance why his original equation, he could have predicted that the universe was with empty expanding or contracting as is was possibility of time depends the universe once taken seriously until observers in the 1920 by 100 in the telescope on Mount Wilson. The observation record start the farther outer galaxy. Outward front is the theory wave moving away. The universe is expanding, while the distance between and to galaxy slightly increasing by time. This discovery removing the new for and cosmologia constant in the order to a static solution for the universe. Einstein later covered cosmology constant. The greatest mistake was the life. I love whatever is now the strength it might not have been mistaken after all. Let's say observation described in chapter 3 UK is the my either be on the small tree is commonly constant. Generally, relativity complexity changed the discussion of the origin and the fate of the universe. A static universe have existed forever, or could have been created in the present from and somatic time and the past hour. Is galaxies are moving forward now is may start most high be closest so it depends about 1 5 for 10 9 years old. They will have be on the two on the each outer on the destiny will have been very large. This state was called the primordial atom by the Catholic priest George Lemaitre was the first to investigate the origin of the universe that we now call it the Big Bang. Physics says never to have taken the Big Bang serious. He apparently towards a simple mode on the uniformly expanding university wall breakdown is one following dimension of the galaxy, but instead the universe right had the previous control priest. While Watson in the present patient and fairly motion destiny, however, we now start in the order for nuclear reaction in the Berkeley University to production. The molecules of die elemental we now observe it around the destiny about where the less ten stone we caused each each the temporary 10 for 10 in 9 disagree due to observation of the microwave background in the understand the density was probably 1 and trillion tons per cube inch. We also now know that Einstein's general theory of the relativity does not allow the universe to bounce from contrary speeds to the present expression. As will be caused in the sharper due because people will able to show some heavily prediction that the universe began the Big Bang, so Einstein theory those implies Einstein has very although has was never why the die. Einstein was more heavily television to admitted shall generally and relative prediction that Walter time con to hand he for mercy saw we take rage to him to their life are no longer energy and out hit to balance to the force on the one of gravity watch while trying to make it the small instead thoughts that such Star Wars steal down to final stage we for snow state or no funny state configuration for star of more stylizing the mass on the sun's so size war so shy of the war.